Hello, this is Cho of the Shiny Killers Discord. Welcome to another episode of the Shiny Review. Today we have 3 cards to talk about. A new produced SSR for Amana, support SSR for Juri, and support SR for Sakuya. Keep in mind that Amana and Juri are both limited. They will not return in any upcoming banners outside of paid. The rerun is possible, but definitely not this year and probably not even next year. You may see her back in 2023 as an unpaid banner, but it's still going to be a long while, I feel. Starting things off, we have Amana. SSR7 kicks off with Amana, who already starts things with an interesting design style, that in ways feels like Alstromeria's answer to interest-focused team styles. Amana's primary goal is to apply dance buffs with her single-target appeals, but notably she also debuffs your dance stat an equal amount, just for a shorter amount of time compared to the buffs. This means that you won't feel the effects until 2 turns later, which sounds like a stall tactic against Antika or Hokura, who also want to wait a couple turns before popping off with their big appeals thanks to interest or just the nature of building up their particular buffs. Another notable thing about Amana 7 is that she's our first real case of a limited produced SSR designed to replace or stand next to an existing limited P-SSR, in this case Amana 3. Amana 3 has generally much better damage at the cost of weaker passives for modern context. I believe the effect of Amana 7's passives fit a little better with current strategies, which attempt to deal with the waiting game and go all out by turn 3, rather than Alstro's origins as turn 1 beasts. She's a neat card for sure. Her roles are buffer, self-debuffer, memory gauge booster, as well as a center, and I moderately to highly recommend pulling for Amana. If Dance Alstromeria is your thing, or you just like Amana, then definitely check the card out. Amana's initial skill is a Dance 3.5 appeal that raises your dance by 20% for 3 turns, 20% for 4 turns, and lowers your dance by 40% for 2 turns. This links into a Dance 80% buff for 4 turns. At max, she unlocks a Dance 5.0 appeal that raises your dance by 40% for 3 turns, 40% for 4 turns, and lowers your dance by 80% for 2 turns, and links into the same Dance 80% buff for 4 turns. Amana's 1-star passive is a memory gauge 20% boost that requires the full Alstromeria lineup on the stage. This means that she has to be performing alongside Tenka and Chiyuki produced cards in order to activate this passive in Fest, or you need to have Chiyuki and Tenka active on the stage during the produce run as your support cards in order to activate this passive. It has a 30% chance to activate twice. Her 2-star passive is a dance 75% up that requires your mental to be over 90% and the turn count to be 3 or earlier. This has a 30% chance to activate 3 times. She also unlocks a dance plus 50 uncap. At 3 stars, she gets an additional dance plus 50 uncap and dance plus 150 uncap. And her 4-star passive is a dance 120% up that requires your mental to be 80% or higher and the turn count to be 3 or later. This has a 40% chance to activate twice. Her memory appeal when maxed out is a Dance 2.0 appeal that links into a Dance maximum 2.5 appeal that scales based on how high your mental is. Amana's support lineup has improved a fair bit since Amana 3 for Dance specifically, with inclusions like Chiyuki and Fuyuko who fit into her playstyle perfectly, while Juri and Natsuha are powerful options for any Dance team, especially now that they can work in tandem. The alternatives include cards like Kiriko, Asahi, Rinzai, and Chiyoko. Kiriko is generic enough to work if you don't like the idea of using Onsen Kiriko as a last-ditch effort. Asahi is a fantastic option with Pair the Trick Fuyuko, while Rinzai and Chiyoko synergize with Juri and Natsuha for some basic help. For the team recommendations, Dance Alstromeria has been rebuilt once again. Amana has opened the gates for Tenka to get a new Dance Limited P-SSR, which may elevate this team even more than it already has been with Amana 7. While I believe Visual may still be the stronger team of the two, Dance is certainly no slouch with Amana at the helm. Lots of buffing, healing, and AoE attacks when all the pieces fall into place. Now, below we have some examples from what I've been seeing in Grade 6 and Grade 7 as to who are being paired alongside this particular version of Dance Alstromeria. Mono and Hiyori pretty much complement the build real easily due to Mono's AoE damage and ability to stack buffs, same with Hiyori. Fuyuko 2 and Asahi 1 are actually some good examples of utilizing said buffs for higher damage, so feel free to experiment, especially because Fuyuko and Asahi are getting that bonus to score, which is super useful in the higher grades especially. Now onto the grades. As a center, Amana earns an A+, maybe even an S, realistically. Amana 7's memory appeal is perfectly serviceable and complements her playstyle well. Since she herself is a buffer, double damage memory appeals fit just right, and let her do what she needs to do at all Grade Pass levels. While the numbers aren't insane right out of the box, consider that you could be looking at a plethora of active dance buffs by turn 3 or 4, which add up real fast for the build. As a unit, she gets an S+. Amana has all the makings of a powerful dance card for Alstraveria and manages to serve a different purpose than Amana 3, allowing for players to make that conscious decision as to which to use. Amana 7 boasts plenty of powerful passives that will benefit your whole team, but in general it may be difficult to use this Amana outside of Alstraveria. If you aren't dedicated to that type of team, then this Amana might not be for you, but she's a powerful addition for plenty of Alstraveria teams. Next up we have Juri. First, we had Gyudon Rinzai, now we have Christmas Juri. Christmas Juri acts as the dance equivalent to Gyudon Rinzai, who rapidly rose the ranks of top-level Grade Fest Hokuda teams thanks to her ability to speed up the game plan and introduce an entirely new playstyle. That being said, Dance Hokuda have a much weaker team than Vocal, so Juri will be a slower burn than Rinzai. Comparatively with Masteries, Juri gains more Unimas SP for less Unimas stamina, so that little extra bit of consistency is lost by comparison, but otherwise Juri is still a fantastic dance support to have, whether that be for Hokuda or just dance in general. Her support skills are Idol's Bond, Promise Recovery, Rest Boost, and Stamina support, and she has 3 unique support skills: Unit Mastery SP reaching +8 at level 70, Dance Mastery SP reaching +10 at level 80, and Unit Mastery Stamina reaching +2 at level 75. Her support appeal does scale, starting at a Dance 3.0 out of the box, becoming a 3.1 at level 60, working its way up 0.1 per 5 levels, reaching 3.5 at level 80. Her TFD idea is Dance, her Insight token for Grad is Dance, and her proficiencies and landing point are in Dance and Mental. Juri's 1-star passive is a Dance 50% up that requires the turn count to be 3 or earlier. This has a 20% chance to activate twice. Her 2-star passive is a Dance 100% up that requires 2 or more active attention buffs. This has a 35% chance to activate twice. Her 3-star uncap is a +100 to Dance, and her 4-star appeal is a Dance 4.0 that raises your attention by 30% for 3 turns, and is a duet skill, which guarantees a Juri icon upon using the skill, regardless of the character you're playing. So if you use Kaho with this appeal, then that means on that turn you would get a Kaho and Juri icon on the bottom left bar. Juri's event passive is a Dance 30% up that requires Juri on your team and has a 20% chance to activate twice. Juri earns a SS- to SS. If you're curious as to why not SS+ when comparing to Gyudon Rinzai, the answer is the loss of memory gauge boosting via the 2-star passive and very slightly less unit mastery stamina to help cut down on room costs. Outside of this, Juri is still a phenomenal support card for general dance teams, but especially killer in Dance Hokuda. The major difference in the current meta is that Dance Hokuda isn't particularly powerful, but we may see upcoming produced cards that drastically change this, so temper your expectations accordingly. I still highly recommend pulling for this Juri, however. Rounding things out, we have Sakuya. As for our event SR this time, we have Sakuya, hanging out with Kiriko. A visual support in every possible way, Sakuya acts as another general use SR support if you wanted a basic start to the attribute. In usual Shiny Moss fashion, the story is great, but the card itself is not very impressive, especially when even her 4-star appeal is nothing special. There's certainly plenty of cards you can pick otherwise, but she's still fine to farm up. Her support skills are Idol's Bond, Promise Recovery, Rest Boost, and Trouble Guard, and her unique support skill is Visual Mastery Visual, reaching +5 at level 65. Her TFD idea, Insight token for Grad, and Proficiency and Landing Point are all visual. Sakuya's 1-star passive is a visual 12% up that requires a turn count to be 3 or earlier. This has a 30% chance to activate once. Her 2-star passive is a visual 20% up that requires your mental to be 49% or lower. This has a 30% chance to activate once. Her 3-star uncap is a +50 to visual, and her 4-star appeal is a visual 2.5 that lowers the judge's influence by 10% for 3 turns. Her event passive is a visual 8% up that requires Sakuya on your team, and it has a 30% chance to activate twice. Sakuya earns a C-. Sakuya is fairly whatever, but I don't think it's too surprising given the track record of support SRs from events. I really don't have much else to say. If you need a filler visual support for Antika teams or just need a Sakuya card, then by all means farm for her, but don't expect anything spectacular, especially if you intend to climb the ranks. But do appreciate the story when you get the chance to read it. Might as well farm for Sakuya while she's here. And that will do it for the video today. Thank you so much, as always, for watching. Next time we'll be talking about whatever banner comes next, so let's look forward to it together. Till next time, I've been Cho. Thanks for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day.